blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's having a wonderful and terrific Tuesday. I first want to start out and apologize for last week. Got so super duper busy, or actually yesterday. Just my AC went off. It was just a hot mess. And anybody that's in Texas know we are like 1,000 degrees right now. So that was my focus yesterday, getting my AC back on point. So here we are today. My name's Kamiko Taylor. I am a realtor with Century 21 Gentrified Company, one of the best brokerages ever. And I am your realtor in sneakers. So today's topic, I have a special guest. She is absolutely amazing, the jack of all trades. Her name is Stacey Record. She'll be coming on and joining me, and we're going to discuss the processes for first-time home buyers in regards to getting yourself prepared to purchase your first home as far as your credit is concerned, your bank account, what to have. I kind of touched on this last week sometime, but she's going to go more into detail because she is a financial literacy advisor. That's what she does. She assisted me in one of my first-time home buyer seminars. She's just amazing. So I will open it up, let her introduce herself, and let her have the floor. So everybody, welcome Stacey Record to the show.
Hi.
Hi.
You. I'm so glad to be on. Thank you so much. First, let me give it back to you guys. She is absolutely amazing. She's out here trying to help impact the community and change people's lives. So thank you so much for allowing me to come on and be a part of your podcast today. So like you said, my name is Stacey Record. I am a licensed realtor, a wealth coach, just all about financial literacy. Listen, we didn't learn it growing up, so that's why I'm here today, to make sure I can help as many people as possible. So we're talking about the process to home ownership. Listen, we know how long you've been a realtor with me. I've been a realtor about 6 years now.
I am going on 3.
3 years. So we already know what this process is like. So the first step of the home buying process is going to be getting pre-approved. So like we were talking about earlier, credit matters. Your credit matters.
It
does. A lot of people don't really understand what credit looks like until they're ready to go and buy something, right? And I know you've experienced that before too, with some clients. They want to become a homeowner. They don't know what their credit score is. As soon as you get them to the lender, it's like, well, Credit Karma said that I had this.
Credit Karma. Say it again. Credit Karma.
Credit Karma said I had this, I had that, and I am ready to buy my house. But that's not really, you have a mortgage score, so it matters what your credit score looks like. And not only can you buy a house at a 580 or a 640, is it wise to buy a house with your credit score being under a certain percentage? Ideally, you're paying more in interest with a lower credit score. So I like to encourage my clients to have at least, 640 or higher. But you got to know what it looks like. So I'm going to just break it down a little bit. Is that cool?
That is A-okay.
Okay. So just kind of break down what credit consists of. You have 5 factors. Your payment history is a factor. How you're paying your bills. Are you paying them on time? Are you getting late payments? That holds about 297 points of your credit score. And then credit utilization is 30% of your credit score. Now let's talk about this, because my grandma used to tell me, Do not get credit cards. It does not make sense. It's gonna ruin you. Da 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 da. But I have to tell you guys that you have to have credit cards.
You do. You absolutely do.
Right.
I actually had to obtain one when I was preparing to buy my house. I didn't have any. I had to get a credit card.
Yeah. And you know how people are, I don't want nothing to do with it, but no credit is equivalent to bad credit. So you have to have credit cards. You have to be able to show that you can handle debt. And you need to have multiple credit cards, not just like one or two, because one or two credit cards can control so much of your credit score. Because your credit utilization, that's about 255 points. So just say you have one or two credit cards, and the limits could even be like $500, and you got those maxed out. You got to know that your credit score is going to plummet, and it's going to be a bad situation.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that you have credit cards, that you're keeping your utilization under 10%. And also that you're paying them on time. Like, make sure you know those due dates, because it all matters. And then your length of credit, that's like if you got a house, or you got a car, how long are you financing that? That holds about 127 points of your credit score. So those things are important. So you got to have different loans. You have to finance something. If you're not financing something, it's going to be real hard for you to go to a lender and be like, hey, give me this house. This is what I need, because you haven't proved to them that you can handle these situations.
Especially at that amount. We're talking $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000.
Right. That's a lot of money. So, and then you have your types of credit, and that stuff is about 85 points of your credit score. It holds about 10% of those credit lines. So you have to have a healthy makeup of credit, so that you can have that good credit score, so that you can go get that lender to approve you, and then go from there. One of the things, though, that I have seen, since I am a wealth coach and I'm coaching people through the process to get to homeownership, is like the savings.
A lot of people don't understand that you have to have something sitting somewhere in a bank, not under the mattress, not in the walls, in a bank.
Yeah.
Sitting.
Yeah, I have to tell you about that. I got a little story about that myself. When I bought my house probably about 12 years ago, and I was a hairstylist, I did not believe in putting my money in the bank. Okay. I was like, nope, they're not getting me. I'm not doing it. So I had all my money in the safe deposit box, right? That's where I was stashing it. And so when it came down to me purchasing my house, it was like, you got to pay this for a down payment. And I was like, okay, that's cool. They were like, well, you have to show where you got the money from. And I was like, well, my money's been sitting here, and I'm showing you that I got it out of my safe deposit box. And they were like, no, you have to show where you made this money, and it needs to be in the bank so that they can track it, so they'll know. Listen, put your money in the bank.
Yes.
Have a particular fund for just getting into your house and what that's going to look like, okay? Because it's important, because down payment assistance is what everybody goes to, right? I'm going to get down payment assistance. I personally am not a big advocate for down payment assistance.
Me neither. Yep.
Because you got to know that nothing is free in life. Like nothing is free. If it's free, I'm wondering what's going on, because nothing is free. You know, you got to know that there's going to be restrictions on how soon you can sell your house without having to pay that amount back, or it's going to go into the note like it's not free. So I highly recommend for people to be prepared for that down payment, 3.5% plus the closing costs if you don't get the seller to do it, to get the seller. Of course, as realtors, we're always going to see what we can do, to get you back, whatever we can get you back. So we're always going to be working on your side to get you to where you need to be from there. So down payment assistance, if you do it, you do it, it's ideally it's not favored upon between me, but listen, I'm not judging nobody. Do what you got to do to get into your house. Just know what that looks like. Education
And read the fine print.
Yes. Education is so important when you get this. So it's real important to work with someone like us because, of course, we know the ins and outs, and we're going to make sure that we're protecting you through the process. Yeah. So once you get to your lender, you get your pre-approval. Listen, you're gonna get it depends on how much money you make. It's gonna tell you how much you're gonna get pre-approved for, right? Now, I have seen people get pre-approved for these high amounts, and they're like, "Oh yes, start my search at $500,000." If you don't want a $500,000 payment, do not start looking for no house for $500,000, okay? And like rule of thumbs for me is kind of like an estimation for every 100,000 that the house is, you're going to be paying that. I consider like $1,000 of that, right? So if it's 300,000, at least 25 to 3,000 is what your payments are going to look like. The days of $1,800 payments, they back there, like in the back there, right? That doesn't really happen that much. Have you seen anybody that got a low payment like that?
No. No.
Just period. No.
It's over. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Yeah, it's done. But I mean, listen, I guess like when I bought my house a long time ago, my mortgage payment was really affordable, but you got to think of it. It was a long time ago. I remember a long time ago, I used to get gas for 99 cents, and I can go to Wendy's and get me a whole meal for $3. That ain't the world today, right?
It is not.
With the time, and know that things change.
It's not.
Yeah, man.
And people, another thing that I've mentioned to people is that if you're in a position to you qualify, for a loan, you get pre-approved. And you're in a great position financially. You're in a great position credit-wise.
Right.
And they're like, "Ooh, we can approve you for $500,000."
Mm-hmm.
Didn't nobody say you got to take it?
Nobody say you got to take it. You don't have to take it.
You might be like, "Oh, I can go get a $500,000 home," but you have to factor in all those expenses and what your mortgage payment will be, and your homeowner's insurance and your taxes.
Yeah.
And these are all things that, like I said, I spoke on my story last week that I was unaware of. I didn't know, you know what I mean? And so it's like, and I wasn't licensed then. So I really didn't know. And a lot of my stuff, I actually I'm a research queen. Right. So I was like, researching answers that I couldn't get from the individual that helped us get this house. So and
you have a whole story about that too. You shared with them.
I shared it last week.
Listen, she got a whole story, okay, about her process of becoming a homeowner. So listen,
with that process is why I said, let me stop playing and get my license to do people right.
Right.
We want that experience, your first time experience, to be the most, because it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
You're about to make this more than likely one of the hugest financial transactions in your life. Because unless you want to get a Bugatti or something, but we're talking about a house that could be scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
with it, yeah.
So it's like one of those things where you just want it's just, and I'm still learning things as a first time homeowner.
Yeah.
I'm still learning things. I share with you about my homeowners and insurance.
Right.
All this time, I could have been shopping around. I could have been paying $3,000 less than what I pay now.
Yeah.
So that's why realtors are so important, because they're gonna make that transaction so super easy.
Yeah. I think it's always good too to have a realtor too that's already a homeowner that's been through the process, because you got to know the ins and outs of what this looks like, right? And the best teacher is experience, right?
Yes, it is.
So I remember when I got my house, and it was real stressful. It was a lot. It was really a lot for me.
Yes.
So that's why I wanted to make sure that my people don't have to go through this. Like I literally, when I got this house, I purchased my first house at 25. And then I was buying this house that I have now. I was selling one house and buying another house. So I had sold my house on Friday, and I was supposed to buy my new house on Monday. the lender was like, you might not be able to buy your new house. And I was like, well, I can't sell my old house on Friday and not know about my new house. I don't want nobody to have to go through that,
No.
right? If I can get in, if I can come in and Bob, we figure that out on the back end, where it's like it was probably a lot of storms that has happened in a lot of my contracts that I've been through, but my homeowner never got a chance to experience that, because that's what the realtor is supposed to do, protect you through this process, right?
And that's what
right?
we pay all them big bucks for, to have that title as a realtor.
Right.
We pay money for that integrity and that knowledge.
Yeah, and that experience. And
Yeah.
I just remember though, when I found my house, and the moment when I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my house. I was praying. I was like, thank you, Jesus, in advance. Before I had even got approved, I was like, this is it. This is my house. That feeling right there is the feeling that we strive to make sure that we give our people. So once you get that pre-approval, it is go time. Let's start giving you that feeling of like, this is my house. And when I go out and I take people to go see houses, I can kind of get a vibe of what happens when we go in, because it's like, I'm not getting no excitement. I'm not getting nothing from you.
Exactly.
I don't want to steer anybody, but in my mind, I'm like, this ain't your house. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to wait. I'll be quiet. I'll let them sit back and let them tell me. But ideally, that feeling that you get when you walk in, you know that that's it. So once you have come up with the idea of what you want your payments to be, whatever your pre-approval amount is, that's a lender question. Talk to your lender and say, hey, if I bought a house at this amount, what are my payments going to look like? Make sure you do that before you go out and put a contract on the house. That's the last thing you want to do, is get in contract and then be like, oh, wow, I didn't know my payments were going to be this high, right? Because if you're out of that option period,
it's a wrap.
It's on you, right? It's on you. It's a decision that you made. So just say you go out, you go find the house of your dreams. You absolutely love it. You guys put in a contract. There's negotiation stages. So as you go through that negotiation stage with your realtor, going back and forth, because of course we're going to be working for your behalf, you know, and if you have somebody that's not working on your behalf, I feel real sorry for you, you know, because you should have somebody saying like, well, maybe that don't make sense, or, you know, well, let's try to do this and that, right? So once you get
especially if you're totally unfamiliar with the process.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. One of the things that I love though, with my clients is that we start with credit. We're already building our relationship. So by the time we get there, you already know that you can trust me, that I'm going to make sure that you got I got your best interest at heart at the end of the day, because I'm not going to let you make the mistakes from the beginning. Like, don't buy it at this point. Let's wait to do here. So I want to make sure that everything works smoothly. And I know you do the same thing.
Yes.
So you get your house. What is the next step, right? The next step is going to be getting your inspection done, putting your earnest money down. Earnest money, 1% of your purchase price generally is what I go for. And then your option fee, you're looking anywhere from $100 to $500 to give you like anywhere from 3 to 7 days to get out of the contract. And in that time, you're doing your due diligence. That means whatever inspection you got to do, you got to go ahead and get that done. Get those inspections in there. Now,
and make sure that you're in which, if you have a great realtor such as me or Stacy, we will tell you what inspections are required.
Right.
Because as I stated, I didn't even know, and ended up with termites.
Yeah. You need to check with everything and
everything.
Ask questions. And you got to know though too, when you go and you do your inspection report is going to look terrible. It's going to be like, this house is horrible. It got like sweat stains in the window. It is normal wear and tear for a house. So
yes, you
want to make sure that when you're talking to your inspector, that your inspector breaks down what this is this normal? Is this something that I should be concerned about? Is it not? And I'm not like a inspection expert, even though I flip houses. But I mean, I'm not, but I can look at it and kind of get an idea like, hey, this ain't that bad. But that's because I went through so many that I thought like, oh my gosh, nobody's gonna want this house.
Yeah.
But ideally, we want the house. People want the house. It's not that bad. And then you negotiate on the things that you feel is necessary. And if there's no resolve, thank God for this option period, because then what?
You can wash your hands and
I mean, you lost.
So speaking on that, so something else came up yesterday, just speaking on the whole inspection thing, okay? Because my air went out. All right.
Yes.
So Sunday, I knew that the filter needed to be changed. So I kept getting the notifications from my Google Nest on the phone.
Oh, okay.
So my neighbor does HVAC at Children's Hospital. So he was like, you probably need to change the filter. Mm-hmm. He goes up there in the attic. He gets the filter. It is I'm embarrassed that I'm embarrassed. But again, first time home buyer who's, when I first bought it, still learning. So, we had the little gathering. My husband was in town and he wanted to just relax and have a gathering and barbecue. So he ran to Walmart, got the filter. Well, after the new filter was put in, the air went out. We're all like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And he went up there, tried to figure it out. One of my good friends, he's apartment maintenance for umpteenth year. So he's trying to tell us what to do. All this, and that. My neighbor goes up there and is like, you got 2 filters and 2 lines and I'm like, huh? So finally, my husband's best friend came over. He's an electrician and he stopped by. He just went up the attic stairs, clicked the switch. I guess somebody accidentally turned the disconnect switch off.
Wow.
And that's all it took. And so I'm laughing because I'm like, you guys, we got to get this situated because I am going through some changes in life and I need air. Okay, that menopausal stuff kicking in and I need air. I'm not going to be able to survive. So we're talking, and yesterday they're all sitting there talking. My neighbor, my husband's best friend, my husband, and however they got it situated in the attic with the filters, and I forget it's called putty or whatever it is. It's 2 filters and they got it ducked off.
Oh wow, really?
So it's like, so I'm sitting there saying, well, what he said, that's going to have to be fixed. Like you're going to have to actually have someone. He was like, how did the inspector miss that? I wonder how they missed that too. Mm-hmm. That's something the inspector should have checked. The whole HVAC unit. Yeah. So now, whatever it is, eventually is going to have to get fixed because it's going to get clogged and clogged and clogged and clogged.
Yeah.
Here's another piece of my story that how important it is to educate our first-time home buyers,
right,
of what you can refer an inspection person all day long,
right?
But what do they need to do? Because a lot of them, like mine, oh, you didn't check the box for pest control. Well, I didn't know that was a separate thing.
Right.
So important. So
they should know to go that extra mile, So that's
or ask me.
Right. Wow. It's your house now, though. So this is the thing. If you don't figure that out, if you do not figure that out before time, it is absolutely your house, know. And once you sign that contract, it's you.
All you.
It's all you, period.
Ain't no 24-hour maintenance, nothing.
None of that. Okay. Like not a thing. None of that is happening at all. So yes. So Lee, we still learning. Even every day we going through something and we figuring it out and we learning it every day. Every day. So you get through that inspection process. And if you go through that, everything is smooth sailing. That is great. Now you go into escrow where you're working with the title company. You got to know that you do have to pay the appraisal for your property. Keep in mind that could go up to $700. You have to pay that, before you can get through the sale of the house. So you go through that, you prepare and listen. We should have backed up and said the do's and don'ts of home ownership, right?
Yes.
What are these do's and don'ts?
Yes.
Do not buy, okay? Do not max out. Do not quit your job. Do not switch your job. Do not. Just don't. Don't, period. Have you had an experience like that before where you had somebody under contract and they went and did something silly? I have
not, but I try to nip it in the bud in the very beginning when it's, you're either having your listing appointment or you're meeting with your buyer to let them know that just because you're going to be ran through underwriting again at the very last moment. And so so a lot of people think that, I got approved. We rolling through. I can go out and do this. No, because days before that closing, you can have a closing date and all that. They will do a quick run again.
Right.
Underwriting, and then boom, your whole deal is
washed. It's washed.
Yep.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you. Oh my gosh, that's why I'm just be so big on these do's and don'ts. Okay. I had a contract. We were getting ready to close. This is good. And tell me why my buyer decided to go ahead and try to get their furniture and stuff, go ahead and apply to get their furniture and stuff for their house.
And that'd be the number one thing too, trying to buy things for the house. No, you wait till you in the house.
So now you got furniture for a house that you're not going to get. You're not going to get the house. So needless to say, that wasn't a win. That wasn't a win for them. They weren't able to get their house because you can't make those big purchases like that because they're looking at your debt to income ratio, and now you just altered it.
Yep.
Before you even got a chance to make it through that next stage. Yep. So do's and don'ts, don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't. Okay? We're not doing that. Okay? So that's that. Okay? So do's and don'ts, just don't. Okay? If there's a question, do I do it? Don't do it. Okay? Or talk to your realtor about it before you go. And I'm always like that. Even now, when I'm working with my clients with that and boosting up their credit scores and all of that, I have them call me before you buy. I'm your accountability partner for real. This is what you're doing. What are you trying to buy? You want to do? Is that necessary?
Right.
I know what your budget looks like. Should we be doing this? No. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, do not. So have the conversation. This is why we're here. You should always be really transparent with your realtor, really transparent with your lender. Okay. That we don't keep secrets. There's no reason for you to have a secret. If you can tell anybody something, I'm like your lawyer. Okay. I'm like your lawyer. You tell me, okay? You don't keep that from me. No surprises, okay? So because you don't want to lose your opportunity before you even get it. Okay?
Exactly.
So that's what that is about. So you're going through your process. You got to know that with the lender, they're going to be all up in your business. I mean, all up in your business. Why did you spend $54 the other day? Well, okay, they want to know everything.
Everything.
Because this is a big deal, right? Purchasing your house it's a big deal. They just want to make sure that there's not going to be any surprises. Because once you get in this loan, you don't want a foreclosure. You don't want those type of situations.
No.
And then it comes back on the lender if you don't have all your stuff right once you've gotten into a house. So the lender could be in trouble because they let something go. So they are going to be all up on you, making sure you have everything. They're going to be requesting documents and all of that. One thing though that I'm going to recap a little bit. Well, I'm going to talk about it a little bit after we finish what this process looks like is why is everybody just buying single family homes? Why are we talking about buying duplexes and different things like that and renting out one side and keeping the other side for yourself? And now you're letting that pay your mortgage payment and making it make sense.
Yeah.
So that is something big that I like to have a conversation with people about because smart investments are important, right?
They are.
Where are you putting your investments?
Yeah, and it's crazy because we were talking about it. Me and a friend was talking about that this morning about how I don't want to get into race, but how is nowadays everybody should be coming together, especially with what's ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, this credit score thing is going away. It's going to be off points, and your only credibility will be what you own.
Yeah.
How many assets do you have?
Right.
And so we were talking about that, how some people are building compounds and buying up land and building on it for the family. You know what I mean? To feed off of. And that's so true. And like I say, I'm getting prepared, trying to get myself in a position. I'm gonna have to go back to work now. I love being a full-time realtor, but I got goals, and so I'm gonna have to go back to work here in a minute. But because my husband is ready, investment, all he want to do, invest. I want to invest property. I want to rent a property. I want this. I want that. I want that. And it is so important. To prepare for it and to get under your belt. It is really important. I didn't know the importance until like last year sometime. And I was like, wow. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Even flipping what you do, flipping homes as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wanting to move into more like new home builds. Flipping houses ain't for punks. You know, like listen. I have won, I have lost, I have won, and I have lost. My losses have been losses, you know, and my wins have been amazing, you know. But in life, you got to know it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep, right? And I didn't get to keep a lot of the money that I made in investments because, you know, the lack of knowledge. That's why financial literacy is so important, and where you're investing your money at, investing your money in life insurance policies. How are you investing it in land and property? All of that stuff is big, right?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna touch on that in just a few moments. We're gonna kick it on back over to Blast for a quick ad, and then we'll be right back.
Okay, we'll be back, Blast.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Great information. I'm loving it. The Blast Artist Spotlight that we have this afternoon is my man Elijah Rosario. And the name of this song is called Best of Me. Check it out.
Say what's on your mind, tell it like it is. Is there something in your heart wanting part in it? If that's the case, then girl, just say so. Games, I ain't tryna play those. Know you protective of your heart. Know you healing from them scars. Well, how about tonight we just put all our worries aside? Take advantage of this moment. Hold me tight, I'm talking close. I've been seeing clearly lately. Ain't no guarantee, just maybe. One thing that I'm certain of, I can't live without your touch. Kiss me like the first time that we met. Love me like we'll never love again. I'll save you every time before myself. Don't want nobody else. Give you the best of me. I know you ain't need a feeling, not just talking sexually. You like to dance in the mirror, you do it so graciously. I feel like nothing else matters when you laying next to me. When you laying next to me, give you the best of me. I know you ain't need a feeling, not just talking sexually. You like to dance in the mirror, you do it so graciously. I feel like nothing else matters when you laying next to me. I'll give you the best of me.
Don't wanna waste no time. You know a good girl's really hard to find. You've been heavy on my mind. Boy, talk is cheap, better wait in line. Love the way I move to the baseline, waistline. Bad girl, not only on FaceTime. You know true love really takes time. Can't find a love if you ain't mine, no. Watch me wind it slow. Watch you lose control. Just wanna let you know this is how the thing goes. Make him spend 6 figures on the bling. African bad girl deserve the finer things. Private jets, baguettes, and diamond rings. Summertime drop top money ain't a thing like what it seemed like.
Kiss me like the first time that we met. Love me like we'll never love again. I'll save you every time before myself. Don't want nobody else. Give you the best of me. I know you ain't need a feeling, not just talking sexually. You like to dance in the mirror, you do it so graciously. I feel like nothing else matters when you laying next to me. When you laying next to me, give you the best of me. I know you ain't need a feeling, not just talking sexually. You like to honest when you laying next to me. I give you the best of me.
Yes, indeed. And that was Elijah Rosario with Best of Me. And if you are an independent artist, a spoken word poet, or even up and coming comedian looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also looking for those who are fans of music. So if you love great music, you can go to blastmusic247.com, register under the Unlimited Fan, and you'll have access to hundreds and hundreds of independent music. Blast. We're constantly changing the industry, one artist at a time. All right, ladies, back to y'all.
Thank you. That was a nice song.
Oh, really?
I like that song.
I missed the tap thing. I think I was supposed to tap.
We learning. I'm still
gonna
learning.
figure it out.
So yeah, forgot the point that we were talking about. What were we talking about?
We were discussing having investment properties and all of that, the pros and the cons, and why not to do this, and wrapping up on the end stage of the home buying process.
Yes.
So we can talk more about that.
I also I wanted you to, and I need to call you. We need to talk afterwards because I keep forgetting to get my little credit repair stuffy stuff situated that we talked about. But I do want you to share that you're credit repairing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get in there and share that also too, because it's all about adding value and what we can do and educating the community. So to wrap up though, the home buying process with that. So once you get through everything, you should, everything, the payments and stuff have gone through, the loans and stuff are great. You're going to get a disclosure 3 days before you can close on your property. Once you get that disclosure, it's about a day before you close, you go and do your final walkthrough. You make sure you check all the lights. Make sure the doors shut the way they're supposed to, because once you sign them papers,
that's it.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. If you find out that you got to do something with your AC unit and the back end,
that's on you.
Okay? That is your issue. That is going to be your issue. So, of course, make sure that you have proper funds for closing, whatever that's going to look like. And then you go from there, and then now you are a proud homeowner. Congratulations. Your realtor.
It's a beautiful feeling.
It is.
And to backtrack just a little bit, because I know that this is something that Wendy, makes us aware of as realtors. Mm-hmm. And this is why true realtors care. Because when you're preparing to purchase, one of the things that we don't want you doing is being house poor. Because house poor, yeah, you can get into the house, but guess what? As a homeowner, once we said before, there is no maintenance to call and say, so should something happen when you get in the house, you got to get a pipe fixed, you got to get something fixed. We're not talking about the material, the couches and the new refrigerators. Right. We're talking about, especially with a pre-existing home. Yes. We're talking about things that could pop up, and then now guess what?
It's on you.
You're house poor because you spent all of your money getting the home, but you have to have that cushion on the side for, things that aren't expected. So that's super important.
Yeah. That's why saving and everything is so important. Last summer, I just had Facebook be giving you all of those memories and stuff like that. And it'd be like, I don't even like these people no more. But anyway, that's a whole nother situation. But
I don't even look no more.
Yes, I always go back and look at my memories because I want to know, like, what was happening in my life then, like what's different now. But what I found out not too long ago is that my AC went out. And it was like $5,000 to fix my AC. And then guess whose bill it was? It was my $5,000 bill. I'm real big on having emergency funds for X, Y, and Z. You're not good unless you have a year's worth of lifestyle bills and expenses saved, you know. So I'm just real big on making sure that you have everything in place, and not like just to be so high and mighty when you ain't got that, because anything can happen. Like literally
anything can happen.
My dad passed away 2 years ago, and he came and he lived with me, right? And I had to quit working because I couldn't take care of him and work. So when that, what did that do for my income? It like depleted my income, right? It depleted my savings, but I thank God that I had money in reserve. So while I was doing that transition, it didn't hit me so hard, right? Like it could have. Yeah, it really could have. And I'm so grateful for the fact that he did come, because that was like the beginning of me changing everything that I'm doing in life, because I was selling an investment property. I was a hairstylist for 22 years, like time poor, because I was working and I wasn't making the money that I was making before after COVID, you know, and real estate market wasn't marketing for me. Right. It was just a lot, you know. My credit score had dropped because I was $35,000 in the hole with the investment property that had a stop work order. And life was just like really hitting me. It was, and a lot of times we suffer in silence, you know, like you feel like I'm supposed to have this together, or people expect me to have X, Y, and Z together. But in real life, like people, and ain't nobody here to judge nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like
you wouldn't, and if you were, you wouldn't want to.
Right. Because listen, even as hard as my situation was, I probably wouldn't pick up somebody else's stuff, right? Because you just never know what somebody is going through. And why I'm so big on what I do now is because of my experiences, because the things that I've gone through, because I know what it looks like to be like just I don't have nothing. You know, when you lose everything. Like a few years ago, I had a relationship that had ended, bad business partner, some shady stuff that they kind of left it on me to have to kind of resolve. I had my credit score had dropped. I always had great credit, but I had to realize that things don't happen to me, they happen for me. I had to go through this hard space in life so that I can know what it's like when I can't go buy the things that I want to buy, when I am getting denied because my credit score looks like this. But God wanted me to have that experience so that when I'm helping other people, I can't sit here and be like, well, why is that your situation? It's like, well, I understand. When you say you don't have it because of this, or your budget is tight, or you're not making enough to do this and that I understand. But my whole thing is like, are you going to sit in that, or are you going to make a change? Right?
Are you going to make? That's the question. Are you going to make a change?
Right.
Because it's all up to you.
Right. You are the person that's going to make that decision, because nobody's going to come and rescue you. It just don't happen. It don't happen that way. I've been looking for a knight in shining armor for a long time, okay? He ain't here, you know, he ain't here. The one I thought was here was shady, okay? But he's so, that's just FYI. It hadn't happened. Like, God is my knight in shining armor because he kept me, he keeps me, he provides for me, he makes a way. But ideally, faith without works is dead, and it's dead. You have to go with it, right?
It is.
So,
but you and like you say, you're thankful for it. And I know, like, you know, the few that know my story, they're like, girl. And to me, it's nothing, because I did it. I went through it, and that's just that. And, you know, I just know how to keep on trucking and moving. Right. But a lot of people were like, girl, but, you know, I was just telling one of my girlfriends this morning, when we were talking about how, like, there's some situations where close people have went and seeked service or realtor outside of me, and it's like, okay, wow, you know what I mean? But like we said, you know, most of the time it is that, you know, family members and close friends, they don't want you in your business. I know for me personally, I'm gonna ask you a few questions to make sure you ain't wasting our time. Okay, I'm gonna ask a few questions. But when it comes into depth and detail, because I don't do the lender side, that's between you and the lender. You know, but I was telling her this morning, I said, my life has always been an open book. I don't have nothing. For one, I'm not ashamed, because my cards were dealt, and I dealt with them. And so in your story, believe it or not, helps so many others that are going through it, because ain't nobody life perfect. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. That's life. That's where we gain our knowledge. It's from experience. It's from going through. So why wouldn't you want to share that to give? There's some people out there thinking about ending their life right now because they don't know what to do, or they're ashamed. It ain't that serious. It can get fixed. It can get turned around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nothing is that bad that you can't come. It might be hard. Ain't nobody said it was gonna be easy. You know what I'm saying? Easy. Like I mean, nobody said it was gonna be easy. You know what I'm saying? When I think about the stuff, like it wasn't easy.
No,
it was not easy to get here, and every day is something different, you know. But the thing is like, Art, what's your mindset is so important. Like, where are you going? Like, where do you want to go? Like, it's one thing to say, I want to be a homeowner, I want to do this, but you're not applying yourself to fix your credit. You want to be this and that, but you can't afford it. If you cannot afford credit repair, you cannot afford to become a homeowner.
Yep.
Okay, that's just the bottom line, period. Like, you are your biggest investment, right? I'd rather wear clothes that ain't name brand and have my finances right than look like $1 million and ain't got 12.
But let me tell you something. You still can look like $1 million if you go shopping with me, honey.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. But honestly and truly, a lot of people, they just buying stuff that they don't need. I feel like it's sad that the mentality is people buy the things that they want and they beg for the things that they need. Right?
That's good. That's good.
Period. You know. Yeah. And that's what I see. Like, I see you on vacation, you chilling, you kicking it, and then you like, hey, can you do my credit for free? Why would I?
Absolutely
because
not.
You're the things that you're doing is not aligning to what I want to do. Because when I'm giving 4 to 6 months of my life to impact and change your narrative, and you're not being responsible with your finances, that doesn't tell me that you're trying to get to your ultimate goal.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, your credit score is going to dictate where you're going to live. It's going to dictate what kind of lifestyle you're going to have. It's going to dictate what kind of business credit you could possibly have. It can dictate like how much more you can have in life. And if you can't see the value of what the importance of that is, then I mean, it's me personally. I'm only looking for people that are looking for me, right? Yeah. And even in the real estate world, I'm only looking for people who are looking for me because I don't want to waste my time. That's why you say ask those questions. Yeah, and a lot of times to reflect about what you said when it comes to people not wanting to use you. I went through that, right? I literally did people's hair for years, and they would come and they knew I was a licensed realtor. They knew I was a single mom. They knew how that could impact my life by getting that closing. They knew how I worked with them as doing their hair. They knew that I was licensed. They knew all of those things, but they chose not to use me because they didn't want me to be in their business. But at first I was offended. I was a little hurt.
Yeah.
I was a little hurt. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be like, I don't want to do your hair no more. Okay, if you want to use me, I don't want to do it. Forget it. But I had to realize that everybody has a right to do what they want to do and whatever. Yeah. You can never knock anybody for making a decision that's best for them. And you have to respect it. And got to know that what God has for me is what He has for me. You know. Yeah. And I don't want nothing that. And sometimes them people be the biggest headaches. Like, I'm glad she was hers and not mine.
Right. Know? True. And then, you have the people that, oh, can you hook me up or can you make it? Because I've had a lot of that too. Oh, but there is no hookup. There's one way and it's the right way.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to follow.
Yeah.
So I guess in a way, a lot of people, I know a piece of advice that was given to me from somebody that's really seasoned: stay away from family and friends. No lie. We're talking 30 something years in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And was like, that's your worst. Not all the time, but your worst business is close family and friends.
And the thing is too is like your support might not come from them, right? You just gotta know that might be the worst business, but your support probably is gonna be coming from strangers before they come from your family and friends, because they'll always have the vision of you that they used to have versus the vision of you where you're going. And so just be okay with that. Right? Like for any new realtors that might be watching this and you're like, what can you tell me? What can you do? I'm just going to tell you that, listen, it's okay if you don't get the support from them. Listen, I don't want you to, I'm cool with not selling you a house, but can you at least make a post for me to tell people like, hey, this is what I do. Can you give me a referral? Be that type of person. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you for nothing, right? Because I'm gonna be okay without it. The only thing I can do is try to say like, hey, I know I could have helped you better, but it's okay. It's
Right.
on you, because that's
and don't call and ask me no questions. Ask your new realtor. It's just the honesty and transparency. That's it. That's all.
No, like real talk. Like real talk, honestly and truly. Like I promise you, even with the situation I was just telling you about, every time you come get your hair done, you want to ask me, girl.
Exactly. Ask you every question in the world, and then next thing you know, they have a representative. But then you're calling me to make sure. See, for one, you don't have a great realtor, because if you did, you wouldn't have to ask nobody any questions.
Right. That
they
part
would be answered.
That part. But you found my lady found the lady in the phone booth.
That's a little worse.
Yeah. You don't even know her. You don't know her. But okay, it's okay. I'm not even gonna go there. But it is what it is. It happened. It was done. It was great. Good luck, girl. I'm glad you got your house sold, and I'm not a hairstylist no more, so I don't even have to worry about that. Okay. I am a wealth coach. I help people with their credit, build business credit, personal credit. I can show you how to invest your funds into life insurance policies, since I help with that. And my whole goal is always to build more entrepreneurs, right? And then show them how to build business credit, show them the ins and the outs so that they can build their legacy on a solid foundation. So that is like my passion. That's where I hang out at, is how can I show you how to save money on your taxes by starting a home-based business so that you can write off all of your stuff, because it's one-stop shop. I have a whole financial service business where we help people with budgeting, debt payoff, having a will of trust, a power of attorney, making sure that you have savings goals. If you want to go traveling, like with the best discounts, because if you're going to buy it, because people are going to go traveling, you already know they're going to. So if I can help you save money on that trip that you can use to pay off some debt, to make it make sense, right?
Yeah.
If you want to find how that works. So yeah, that's what I'm out here doing. And
it's amazing. And because since our meet at my seminar, I mean, you are on the go. You are on the grind, girl. I love it.
Yes. I finally sold an investment property that I had that was kind of driving me crazy, but I'm glad that is done. Moving into doing new home builds and helping people figure out what makes the most sense. So kudos. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. I mean, listen, my heart is what drives me to do the things that I do, because I just remember being in a place where people could have helped me and they didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you knew how to build business credit, and you knew I had been doing my business as a DBA for all of those years and not giving me the ins and the outs. Like, why are you doing that?
Right.
Like we all have something that we can offer the world. It's just a matter of are you keeping it for yourself, or are you gonna be a team player and share and help other people get to the goal also? So I want to see you win. I love going down and seeing all these successful women winning. I'm super proud of you for having this podcast, for
thank you
here sharing some knowledge with people, and because you never know what message you're going to put out that's going to change the next person's life, right?
Absolutely. And it all, and like Troy said, when on my first one, people love a good story.
Yeah.
People love a good story, especially when it's genuine,
right? And
it's coming from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always strive. I've always been a transparent person. Either you like Kamika or you don't.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah,
outside of the Gemini, because it is our season today, girl.
Gemini,
but I try my best to be transparent and meet people where they are. I just think it's so important. And everything that I was not given as far as knowledge or just the attention, everything I wasn't given, I try to give.
Right.
Because
right.
I know that feeling. You know what I'm saying? I moved here to Texas with no family, no friends, no nothing. I have none of that here. So,
Right.
and then just to learn, just to learn from other people. And that's what I'm doing now, networking. Just trying to get out there and meet different people and learn as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I have to get with you in regards to my LLC that I'm going to have to recreate because I shut the other one down.
Yeah.
But I'm going to recreate and to get it done the right way. So I know we briefly spoke on that and but you're the expert at it. I know the ins and outs, but you're the expert at it. So
which business do you have that you're doing the LLC?
Well, it would be, I know. So for the first LLC I had was the His and Her Cigars when we, sold cigars. From my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can have an LLC designated for one business, but you can still use that LLC for other entities.
Yeah. Okay. I do.
Yeah.
I have my business set up like that. So the big business is Real Life Homes, LLC. And then, of course, I have my travel business, and I just kind of do different EINs for them, the travel, the wealth coaching, life insurance, all of those things for tax purposes, since I do taxes, make it make sense.
Right.
Keep it separate, have different bank accounts for this here. If you got this one here, because it's all about building relationships and make it simple for your tax professional, if you don't have a bookkeeper. Okay.
Yeah, because it's very, very, and that's one of the not having knowledge. One of the reasons why I shut just kind of suspended the LLC for a little bit, because I was unaware that I still had to do taxes, although there was no revenue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I got the letter, unfortunately, I don't know where they got this P.O. box from in Frisco, but now that's why I wasn't receiving information. You're sending it to somewhere in Frisco. I've never had a P.O. box. So that was corrected, but I was unaware. So again, me just doing things on my own, not having anyone to go to say, hey, and I just did it, even though we did not, we didn't have a lot of revenue because, my husband got the job that flies him around the world. So he's no longer home, and you still got to file taxes regardless, whether it's zero or not. I didn't know that. So this time around, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that be, but I'm gonna go ahead and create another EIN and I don't know what I want the LLC to be under. I don't know if I want it to be under my realty stuff, or I don't know, but I just know that this time around, I want to do it the right way and have a little bit more knowledge about it. And I did have a business account under that LLC. I separated it from my personal. But this time around, I want to use the knowledge that I have and utilize that LLC EIN for everything. And I want to Kamiko Taylor out of it.
Keep yourself out of it, and then put all your businesses and stuff inside of trust. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Make it make sense. Like, the people been doing it like this for a long time.
But long time.
They're not telling you. This is why, like, the 2/3 of the world's, or 2/3 of the finances is owned by a small portion of people, and then the other 1/3 is all of us trying to see where we can get wealth at, where you can get wealth at. How can we get here? What can we do here to go get that? Because the big bulk of money, the people that are investing in life insurance, listen, call me at 214-571-7730 if you want to talk about how you can invest your money inside life insurance. And then guess what? That's going to save you from like capital gain taxes. You're going to be able to hide your money up in there because you don't have to tax on life insurance. You don't pay taxes on that
at all. Absolutely.
So it makes sense.
I appreciate you taking the time out to join me today. And this was a great, great, great show. As always, I try to learn something in everything, and I learned today some more things from you, as always. So I appreciate you joining. And then again, it's Stacey Record, and shoot your number out again.
Stacey Record, 214-571-7730. My website is rlhomes.net, where you can see all of the things that I'm doing in the community to impact, change the world. Listen, we need villages too out here, right? As we're impacting, we need a village, so we can't do it by ourselves. So join us, come on in and
Yes.
be the change. Will you
Yes.
be the one?
Absolutely. I appreciate you. And thank you everyone for watching, who's watching and who's going to watch later. Again, I do apologize for yesterday. It was a busy day, but I will be back for episode 4 next Monday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. So don't meet me there, beat me there. You guys have a great week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.